Social Security. Where am I at on Social Security? I've got a 95-year-old mother living with me who's on Social Security. She can still spank me if she wants to. She doesn't need to. She knows that I'm not going to do away with her Social Security. And any thinking person would say, what politician would run on a platform of doing away with Social Security? But what's even more arrogant from that ad is the fact that while I was in Congress, I introduced legislation. It was my bill that I sponsored that put a lockbox, that would have put a lockbox around Social Security fund to keep it from being the slush fund that undisciplined, unprincipled members of Congress are willing to use to spend for the re-election. And Mark Schauer is using that right now because he's spent us into oblivion. Do you realize that in the last 18 months, this administration, with the help of people like Mark Schauer and Nancy Pelosi, and remember Mark has voted with Nancy Pelosi almost 95% of the time, when the average Democrat is 90% of the time. So his face is more easily in the Nancy Pelosi than our faces, that's for sure. But he's been doing that and spending and putting IOUs in the trust fund of Social Security. And he says, hey, have you ever missed a check yet? Well, no, because we keep going into debt. But your great-grandchildren and grandchildren, my grandchildren, are already paying for that before they've even applied for a job. And then indebtedness continues to increase. And in the 18 months of this administration, there has been more debt produced than all of the debt produced from Washington through Reagan. That's shocking. And there's no end in sight unless we change the makeup of the legislature. Well, I put that lockbox bill in, and Nancy Pelosi wouldn't allow it to even be heard in committee. And here we have Mark Schauer and Nancy Pelosi screaming about politicians supposedly wanting to do away with Social Security, hurt Social Security, take away your checks. Two years till I'm 62. That says something to me about Social Security too, and I've been paying into it for a long time. But I would like to say for the future, when we secure that Social Security and take it from a slush fund for undisciplined politicians, that down the road for new employees, not yet even in the workforce, that there may be a better approach to doing that, where they will have more control of their own resources to plan for their own future with incentives that we will give to them. That'll be better than what we have with Social Security right now, and certainly more secure than letting politicians control what your future is. Now that's all we're saying. And I'm committed to making sure that the contract is secure that we've made to all who are on Social Security and all who have paid into Social Security. They can say all they want about that. But the truth is they're doing everything in their power to make it more difficult for the security to be there for Social Security, for the contract to be kept. And they want you to think it's the other way around. I hope I've answered some of those things. You've seen Mark Schauer's most recent, and remember, a lot of this stuff that's being put out is being paid for really by taxpayers' dollars. AFSCME, the union that spent $750,000. $750,000. I spent over $700,000 in the primary to win that race. They've spent in 3 weeks on that ad that you've seen $750,000 to put out a lie. And that's the union that represents public employees, i.e. taxpaying employees. Where do they get that money? Well, number one, they're not hurting like the rest of the workforce in this country. But Mark Schauer has this ad out where he's sitting in a restaurant, something like this, Roxy's in Jackson, and he's saying, 10 times a day, I ask myself the question, what is Washington thinking? Well, most of us would say, hey, Mark, why is that a question? Just think what you're thinking. You're the one who supported cap and trade, tax increase. You're the one that supported the Pelosi budget that produces $1 trillion deficits. You're the one that supported card check that takes away the right for free elections and private elections for employees. You're the one that supported the Obamacare, massive government takeover your health care system. You're the one that supported the stimulus that only stimulated government jobs. You're the one that continues to support the expansion of government. You know what Washington is thinking because you're thinking that. You are part of it.